The most promising anime series to look forward to in 2018 Part 2. 1. Wotaku Nikoi wa Muzukashi. Every year, more and more kids who are nerds or geeks their entire lives discover that they're all grown up and in need of a job. Those nerdy and geeky passions don't go away though, and it becomes a balancing act between being a normal professional in public and a closet geek in private. This lifestyle was explored brilliantly in 2017's Recovery of an MMO Junkie, but it's getting an even deeper look in 2018's Wotaku Nikoi wa Muzukashi. The anime will focus on two main characters, Hirataka Naifuji and Narumi Momos. The former is a video game crazy otaku who shuts himself away from society when he's not needed at work. The latter is a fujoshi, a woman who's obsessed with intense sexual fantasies between two men. The two meet after choosing to work at the same company, and realize they were both friends back in middle school. They realize their hidden passions are a bond they share, and they get along well enough even after being apart for years. They decide to start dating. In the original manga, the relationship is far from perfect, but it explores real issues that nerds and geeks face in the public eye. Society still doesn't see much worth in some of the more fanatical extremes of gaming and anime culture, and Wotaku Nikoi wa Muzukashi perfectly captures the feelings of isolation and shame this stigma can produce. The two main characters may only encompass the video game and sexual fantasy aspects of geek culture, but they both soon meet other otakus, each embodying a different aspect of geek and nerd culture, who are also hiding in plain sight. The show also does a phenomenal job highlighting the shared bonds that adult gamers and anime fans instinctively share, and broaches the subject of whether or not such a bond is all two people need to maintain a relationship. If the anime follows the manga, you'll shed more than a few tears watching this show, but you'll have your fair share of laughs too. This anime is perfect for any geek or nerd who's learning to find their place in the professional world, or who's seeking comfort from the isolation that such passions can occasionally create. 2. Alice in Deadly School, the animation. Fans have waited years for a continuation to the High School of the Dead anime. Sadly, at this point, I think it's safe to say that it's never coming. However, Alice in Deadly School, the animation may be able to fill the gaping hole that High School of the Dead left. The show's premise is pretty straightforward. A zombie outbreak occurs at an all-girls school and infects most of the students, faculty, and staff. A few of the students are able to survive, and barricade themselves on the roof of their school building. It's there that they must create their own small society, and work together to survive until they can be rescued. The zombie outbreak survival story is one that's been done into the ground, but shows like High School of the Dead were able to make a name for themselves for their unique spins on the formula. Alice in Deadly School continues this tradition with an entire girl cast, an arrangement that's not prevalent in most zombie narratives. All of the characters are also very young, even younger than the high school students from High School of the Dead. If anything, Alice in Deadly School plays out like an all-girl variation of William Golding's Lord of the Flies. Girls react to government and conflict very differently than boys though, so Alice in Deadly School handles that narrative a bit differently. There's currently no information tied to when the anime will release, or where audiences will be able to find it. It is slated for 2018 though, so keep your eyes open for it. Be prepared to be a little horrified by the show's content too. These are little girls trying to survive against a horde of cannibalistic humans after all. 3. Haruka no Receive. Sports anime have popularized sports like basketball and soccer for thousands of people, but it has also allowed sports that aren't all that well known to gain an audience, like what 2017's two-car did for sidecar racing. Haruka no Receive will do that for beach volleyball, the less popular cousin to the sport that starred in Who. Haruka no Receive is based on the manga of the same name, a comic that details the story of Haruka and Kanata, a beach volleyball pair. Haruka approaches Kanata in desperation, needing a partner to compete in competitive beach volleyball. Although Kanata gave up on the sport, on account of the pressure she was subjected to on a daily basis for her short height, Haruka is able to win her over. I'll be frank, this is a story that focuses on a beach volleyball tournament with a very large character roster of young women competitors. Ecchi themes, sexual fanservice, are a regular part of the manga, and I have no doubt that they will be prominent in every episode of the anime. That's going to turn off a lot of people, but this anime will be so much more than a sexy variation of you. As someone who has played a lot of competitive beach volleyball, I can confirm that the Harukana Receive manga does a good job breaking down the fundamentals of the sport. It also helps inform the differences between volleyball and beach volleyball. The story of Haruka and Kanata's growing friendship is also pretty good, and very cute, and watching Kanata work past her short stature to succeed at a sport that demands height, even more so than regular volleyball, works through some pretty heavy character development.